today are going to be a chair and a blanket. I invite you, as you get your props together, to put any devices that you may have on Do Not Disturb, so that you really can draw in, do a little resting for yourself, resting for the nervous system, and make sure lighting and temperature are good in your room. Just a couple of announcements, and then we will begin on the floor, on all fours, just so you know where we're going. People are writing into the chat some kavanot, some intentions for practice today. I invite you to do so if you would like. So registration is now open for a wonderful new course, Earth, Moon, Mindfulness, speaking of the moon. Join our faculty member, our wonderful faculty member, Kohenet Kashira Halev Fife, for a journey through the Jewish year, rooted in the energies of the Jewish months and phases of the moon. This series will draw connections between Jewish time, the moon, our experience of the world in the present moment. And that link Rachel has put into the chat. As well, we'll share a link for the Shofar project. If you're not already signed up, please go online after class today and register so that you receive the readings and accompanying guides for each week of Elul. I will share today's writing from Rabbi Sam Feinsmith as a PDF. We'll put that here into the chat as well so that you have it. I'm going to be teaching and jumping off of that today, and you'll have that as a resource. So let's begin. If you just hopped on, again, the props are a chair and a blanket. We will begin on quadruped, all fours. If that's not comfortable for you, for knees, for wrists, feel free to adapt these movements in the chair. You can do them just as skillfully. And I remind everybody, please take class on your own tempo, your own needs. Please go at your own pace. And please take care of precious you as you practice. So beginning on all fours, see that the wrists are directly under the shoulders and the knees are directly under the hips. Spread the fingers, open the palms, and a little bit externally rotate the forearms. That means draw the eyes of the elbows toward the front of the room. You want to leave a micro bend in the elbows and really lift up out of the wrists so we don't have pressure down. Alternatively, you can stand on your fists. Some people like to grab weights and hold on to the weights. And of course, alternatively, you can also sit in a chair. So finding that nice neutral spine and keeping that S-shaped curvature of the spine, the waves of the spine in mind, lengthen in two directions. Tailbone and crown moving away. Lightly draw the navel toward the spine for some support. And as we inhale, let the sitting bones move up, let the belly drop, the collarbones widen, coming into an arch. Perhaps the gaze is coming forward. As we exhale, drop the tailbone and the crown, make a nice C curve. Get that whole exhale out. Inhale, lengthen vertebra by vertebra, opening, lengthening, giving space to the discs. And as we exhale, really doming the mid-back, separating the shoulder blades, letting the tail and the crown drop, going back and forth in your own time, in your own breath. Take it nice and slow. Just really beginning to link sensation and breath so that we can dive deep into a meditation in motion, a focus on breath and sensation. And then come back to neutral. We're going to make circles with the whole rib cage. So just following the breath, inhaling as we drop down toward the mat, exhaling as we come up toward the ceiling. So it's a bit of cat and cow in a circular motion as we go around, and then pausing and taking the other direction. And just feeling any movement for the ribs. Let the elbows bend as you come down and straighten as you come up. And then come back to neutral. And we will thread the needle. If you're sitting in a chair, you're either taking a twist or just drawing the right arm across the body and holding it with the left hand. If you're on the floor with me here, we're inhaling the right arm out to the right. Exhaling, taking it behind the left wrist, laying the right shoulder down, pressing into those left fingertips, and just seeing where this twist leads you. If you have any discomfort, see if you can breathe it in and also breathe it out. Really just letting it go, letting it move through. When we breathe with discomfort, it has less chance of just staying stuck in our body. It will move. If you want to take the left arm up toward the ceiling, you can. You could internally rotate it. You could take it behind the back. Whatever you like, just see what's working for you. And then as you're ready, unravel slowly, come on back to center. Just sit back on the heels for a moment and take circles with the wrists. Circles with the hands, really, and then circles in the other direction, just to give a little ease for the wrists. And then come on back, we'll take the other side, inhaling the left arm out to the left. Exhale, thread behind the right wrist, come down to the floor. Press into those right fingertips as you take this twist. And again, you can take any variation with the right arm. You can send it up toward the ceiling. You can internally rotate it, take it behind you. Just see what's wanted, or you can just stay with those right fingertips to the floor, pressing down. Feel sensation as it arises. Feel sensation as it abides. Feel sensation as it passes. Right? Everything changing each moment. We're just following. And then as you're ready, you can unravel. Come on back to center and have a seat or a lie down as I share a little bit of teaching. So last week, in our first week of the Shofar project, we brought attention to the heart and toward listening, the invitation to open our hearts and begin to listen for what's there, for what's knocking. In this second week, we attuned to the shofar as an invitation to attend to the pain in our world. This week we explore, and I'm sharing some words by Rabbi Sam Feinsmith and a few words of my own peppered in. And this will be included in the chat, so you can have this for the week. Don't worry about writing anything down or missing anything. It'll be available to you. We explore the sound of the shofar this week as an inchoate, primal cry that expresses our shared pain and anguish as human beings and invites us to grow our capacity to attune ourselves to suffering rather than look away. In our training in attuning ourselves to the suffering in our world, will that serve as foundation for the next 2 weeks, cultivating our capacity for deeper compassion and strengthening our capacity to respond to injustice. I just want to acknowledge that today's teaching is somewhat challenging. So please take care of yourself, because it's not a directive or a prescription. Take in what you can, what you're able to, take in what you need, and give yourself grace to pause or stop where you need. That's really part of taking care of ourselves. And as you'll see, this is a teaching that, may resonate really strongly, and we have ability for it, or may just not be for us in this, fullness in this moment. I just wanted to begin by saying that. Back to Sam. As we approach the anniversary of October 7th attacks, witness the rise of anti-Semitism at home and abroad, and feel the strain of the upcoming election, we may be holding a great deal of suffering, pain, grief, anxiety, and even trauma. In the face of this overwhelming and pervasive hurt, the impulse to look away and tune out is natural. But there's also a price we pay for doing so. So he goes on to talk about the Talmud and the explanation of the rabbis about the sound of the shofar. A complete round of sounding the shofar consists of 2 long, even sounds, tikiyah, bookends, bookending a series of broken sounds, tru'ah, a sob, or shvarim, a wail, right? Tikiyah, the 1 long sound, shvarim, 3 broken sounds, tru'ah, 9 sounds. We learn from a passage in the Babylonian Talmud that the broken sounds of the shofar express a sob or a wail. Specifically, they mimic the cry of the mother of Sisera, a Canaanite general who led a battle against the Israelites, upon realizing that her son has been killed in battle and will never return home. To pattern the call of the shofar after the anguished cry of our enemy's mother, be it a sob, tru'ah, a wail, shvarim, or both, shvarim, tru'ah, suggests that the shofar beckons us to attune ourselves to the most visceral and universal shared experience of human pain, that of a mother bereft of her child. It beckons us to look inward and ask ourselves some tough questions. When do I look away, and why? Right? We have this reflexive tendency perhaps to look away, a reflexive aversion, difficulty. Right? So we can ask ourselves, when do I look away and why? What reflexive habits of heart and mind cause me to pretend that I don't see the suffering before me and don't feel a twinge of compassion? When I ask myself these questions, I notice that sometimes I turn away because the enormity in the suffering of our world is overwhelming. Right? Sometimes it's just too much. And we can notice that and work with ourselves about how much we take in at once so that we don't become flooded and useless, right, in being able to keep ourselves strong and helpful and useful. To avoid such flooding, Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi of blessed memory suggested a practice daily that for 10 minutes a day, we should take in all the pain of the world, that we should really open our hearts fully to that for 10 minutes a day. And then the rest of the day, we should dwell b'simcha, in happiness. So this week, we might explore our own threshold here and attune ourselves only to as much suffering as we can bear without becoming dysregulated, without becoming reactive, without shutting down and becoming numb. Second, sometimes I turn a blind eye to the suffering of others because it elicits unpleasant feelings. A sense of being inconvenienced, feelings of disgust, feeling of my own fragility, insecurity about my own capacity to respond sufficiently. And that's where we can use our mindfulness practice, including our yoga practice, to notice such feelings and hold them with a kind curiosity. In doing so, then I can better find the freedom to choose wise response rather than being driven by habit patterns, by impulse. And third, sometimes turning towards suffering can leave me feeling overly vulnerable, defenseless, and exposed. So by linking the sound of the shofar with the cry of Sisera's mother, our enemy's mother, the Talmud reminds us, that the death of children in war is the great equalizer, blurring conventional lines of division between enemies. If our enemy's suffering upon losing a child is no different from the suffering we might experience were we to lose a child, then maybe our enemy is not so different from us after all. And for those of us who do not have children, right, just the image of a mother losing a child certainly invokes pain in us. Maybe our enemy is not so different from us after all. Maybe they have a feeling human heart just like we do. In recognizing our shared humanity, some of our emotional armor might soften, leaving us feeling more vulnerable and exposed to our enemy. In the face of such feelings, it may feel safer to retreat into tribalism, moral smugness, and callousness. Here especially the lesson of the shofar, as patterned after the cry of Sisera's mother, pierces our complacency and indifference, reminding us that we're liable to turn away from the suffering of our enemy by retreating into fixed views, opinions, and rigid thinking. Even under such conditions, pleads the shofar cry, pay attention. Remember that each of these children is someone else's child. Yes, you can and should protect yourself, your loved ones, and your people from harm, but don't close your heart to your enemy and to their suffering. So this year, as we listen to the call of the shofar, we bring mindfulness to moments when we've noticed ourselves in any way, in any moment, turning a blind eye to the suffering in the world, and seek to become more aware of habits of heart and mind that drive the tendency to look away. In so doing, we might gain greater freedom to choose to respond with self-compassion, enriched clarity, and a deeper sense of connection, empathy, and humanity. And so our yoga practice, of course, is the micro practice of how we tune into discomfort, to suffering, to pain, and how we work with it, how we attune to it and notice it arising so that we can take this micro on the map practice out into the macro, out in the world practice. So I remind us that yoga helps us to strengthen ourselves and to bear the pain of the world out there from that place of strength. Because yoga teaches us to be aware of what is arising moment to moment, including pain. We build capacity to be with what is uncomfortable, what can be painful. It's a practice. That's why we go slowly and practice daily or often. And this is part of making tshuva, first with the body. So we go in today bravely. We're going to do some focused work in the hamstrings. The hamstrings, I chose the hamstrings because they're a place where many of us have tight hamstrings, and they're gross muscles where we really can feel the discomfort pretty quickly. So how do we stay with that? How do we notice our desire to maybe bring our minds elsewhere? Of course, I don't want you to invite pain in your practice. Let me be clear, today or in any moment. It's more just noticing where are my places of pain, of suffering, of discomfort, and being able to see them. So we'll do a little bit of that, and I'll share a breath practice at the end on this theme as well. So we're going to make our way to standing through ragdoll. You can come to a squat, and then lift the hips.
Let the head hang. Take a deep breath into the belly. On your next exhale, draw the navel to the spine, toward the spine. Press the feet to the floor to really press the earth away as you start to roll up, vertebra by vertebra, to come to a comfortable standing. Take your time. When you get up to the top, I'm going to do a little bit of vinyasa, again, linking breath and movement very simply. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, clasp the hands at the base of your skull. Let the elbows be nice and wide. Inhale, lift the heart right from the center of the sternum. Widen the elbows. Let the skull rest into the hands. You can pull the hands a little bit away to lengthen the neck. Exhale, come back to neutral and release the hands back down. We'll take that again. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, clasp hands behind the head. Inhale, widen the elbows, lift the heart, let the head be supported by the hands. Inhale, come up to center, engage the core as you do so. Release, exhale, come back to where we began. Taking it again, inhale the arms up. Exhale, clasp hands behind the head. Inhale, widen the elbows to the opposite corners of the room. Lift the heart. Exhale, coming to neutral. Knit the ribs. Bring the arms back down. One more time like this. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, clasp hands behind the head. Inhale, lift up. Feet grounding down. Exhale, coming back. Neutral spine. Bring the arms back down. Grab your chair and bring it onto your mat facing you. We'll take the feet hip width apart. Take the hands to the hips. Inhale, lift the heart up. And as you exhale, fold forward, creasing at the hips. So you're going to take your forearms either to the chair seat or to the top of the chair. You'll decide based on your own hamstrings how far you want to come down here, right? So make sure it's accessible for you. The spine is long, not rounded. It's lengthened. The thighs are drawing back. That's really important here. Long spine. Lift and separate your 10 toes. And lift up on the thighs, on the quadriceps, and on the kneecaps. And as you draw those thigh bones back in space, perhaps you feel a hollowing of the abdomen, a lengthening of the abdominal space. Attune to any sensitivity, to any discomfort. So this is where we find our edge, right? Find the place where you have enough sensation that you can be engaged and curious with it, but not too much that you're going to pull anything, right? Or hurt yourself in any way. So it's a very calculated edge. And just be here with this small sense of discomfort. See if you can stay with it. Breathing into sensation. Letting it come in with the in-breath and letting it go out with the out-breath. When you're ready, press into the hands. Inhale to come up, lift the heart. And then exhale, come back to mountain pose, neutral spine. Okay, you can take the same thing over, or we're going to take an extend the arms, a downward dog variation here on the chair. So the arms are either at the top of the chair or on the chair seat, again, depending on the needs of your own hamstrings. You're going to walk the legs back. You can keep a bit of bend on the knees if you like, or you can have them a little more towards straight. For sure, there's always a micro bend in the knees. And the spine is lengthened, not rounded. You can take the arms as wide as you like. Helps the shoulders. The wider you have them, if the shoulders are tight, the wider you place the arms, the more space you'll give to your shoulders. And once again, take the eyes of the elbows and turn them in the direction toward the ceiling. They're really just probably facing each other, the eyes of the elbows. But the idea, it's this external rotation of the upper arm. They're moving in the direction of the ceiling. So that's a lot of alignment directions. See what really sits with you, what's interesting, what's curious. Stay with that. A couple more breaths. Just refining your own alignment here. Slow, smooth, steady breaths. And then as you're ready, walking the legs forward and coming on up. Then we're going to extend a leg. So first extending the right leg. It's either on the chair seat or it's at the top of the chair. You'll decide. Left leg is the standing leg. And wherever you're extending the leg here, again, you want to be, kind of at like a pretty gentle edge, gentle to medium edge. You want to see that right hip doesn't hike up, right? So we can horseshoe the hand and open thumb and second finger here and take this horseshoe into the crook of the thigh and draw the flesh of the outer thigh down, right? So that sitting bones are even, hip points in the front are even. Flex through that right foot. Draw the toes back towards your forehead. If you find that you're struggling with balance, you can take a hand to the wall for some support. You can also lower the leg down, right? The leg can also just be extended onto a block in front of you. Right, so you can choose your level. Always. We want to make the yoga practice safe. And we can still follow our line of inquiry. Notice if there's any tendency to hold the breath. See if you can keep it flowing, steady, smooth. And as you're ready, release. Find mountain pose and just pause. Notice sensation from the right leg to the left leg. Is there any difference in sensations between the leg that we just worked and the other leg? Temperature, the feeling of the weight of the leg or the presence of the leg, or any sorts of feelings like vibration or tingling or temperature. Does one leg feel warmer than the other? Just tracking this with some curiosity, without any judgment, right? And now shift the weight over to the right leg. That's your standing leg. And you'll extend the left leg long. So again, either on the chair seat or on the back of the chair. Horseshoe the left hand and take that right into the crease where your thigh meets your hip, and draw the outer left thigh down, like out and down, like you're sort of tucking the sitting bone in. Flex through the left foot and draw the toes back towards your forehead. Be here and breathe. And see what you notice. Really stamping down that right foot, that standing leg to help with balance. You can also take a hand to a wall. And then as you're ready, release. Before doing any fidgeting or shaking the leg out or anything like that, come right back to mountain pose. You can even close your eyes if you'd like, but just turn inward to feel the right leg, the left leg, any sensations, any heat. See what you notice. Now we're going to take a little twist on the chair, so step your right foot up onto the chair. Again, really stamping down with that left foot, that standing foot, and just see that your hip is directly in line with your heel, right? So you don't want to be shifting forward or shifting backward in any way. My sitting bone and my heel are in line. Inhale, lift the crown up tall as you press the foot down. Exhale, spin to the right. Take the left hand outside the right knee. The right hand can once again kind of be on this hip or in the crease of the hip if you like. That's actually a very nice starting place to draw the thigh down and the chest up, the spine up, and then from that place you can take the right arm behind you, palm open to the room, and then the gaze you can decide. It sort of depends on your own neck. Sometimes it's nice to go in the opposite direction, gaze over the left shoulder, or you can just go forward, or you can turn back to face the right fingertips. So, individual neck dependent. Extend those fingertips long behind you as you also work the left hand pressing against the right knee. Let the shoulder blades descend. And then, as you're ready, come on back and just pause and notice, how does it feel in the rib cage, in the shoulder blades. Take mountain pose without fidgeting. And then shift over to the right leg as your standing leg. Place the left foot onto the chair. Inhale, lengthen the spine, press that right foot down, lift the crown of the head up. And exhale, begin a twist to the left. And here again, you can take the left hand into the left hip crease and the right hand to the outer left knee. Lift the chest, lift the sternum up, and gradually work into this twist. Abdomen is lengthened and hollowed. The rib cage twists around the spine. And then if you like, the left fingertips extend. And once again, you can decide, where's the neck, where's the gaze? It could be over the right shoulder, could be forward in line with your chest, or it could be looking over your left fingertips, left shoulder. So you decide. Really ground right inner and outer heel down. Again, noticing any sense of discomfort. Can you bring some compassion to your own sense of fragility, balance, imbalance, whatever it is that's arising. And then as you're ready, come on back, come to mountain pose. Again, no fidgeting. A teacher of mine used to really emphasize that. Right? We often just want to make some adjustments and fidgets, but he would say, no, just come right back to the center and feel the feels. Notice what's arising. So it's really likely that in that pose especially, it's often really present in twists. We feel how one side is very different than the other. One side might be very powerful, balanced, easy to balance. The other side may be wobbly, maybe less strong. And from here, we're going to come onto our backs. And in the face of discomfort and in the face of pain, we always want to strengthen ourselves a little bit. And a good place to strengthen is, of course, the core. So I want to bring to you a few of the basic core strengthening that I learned in PT that I really, really like. For any of you who have lower back discomfort or disc issues, these are really good ones. So the first thing is to bring the legs to tabletop, that is with the shins parallel to the ceiling. Knees are at 90 degrees. You can lengthen the arms, palms down, or if it's more comfortable for you, place the hands just right under the low back for a little bit of support. Either one is just fine. We're going to start by taking toe dips. So the right down and up, and then switch the left down and up. Be really slow, really methodical. The slower you go, the more challenging this is. And feel the core engage. Feel the ribs corset together toward each other, really knit together. And one tip, the closer in you are to the body with these toe dips, the easier this is. The farther away you dip your toe from the body, the more challenging this is. So you decide. And then alternating right and left, so staying in motion, very controlled. Easy in the neck, easy in the jaw. And then come back up to neutral. Place the left foot on the floor, the right foot stays up. We're going to do an isometric exercise that also builds core strength. We're going to press the hand into the thigh and the thigh into the hand simultaneously and hold for 5. So here we go. Inhale, exhale, press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Inhale. Slow exhale, press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, inhale. Exhale and press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, switch legs. Left comes up. Inhale. Exhale, press hand to thigh, thigh to hand. 4, 3, 2, 1. Core engages. Inhale. And exhale, press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy jaw, easy throat. Release, inhale. Exhale, engage. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring it down, shake it out a little bit. So you see it gets everything. It gets inner thigh, outer thigh. It also gets the glute. It gets the core. It's kind of this whole powerhouse, as it's called in Pilates, named by Joseph Pilates, the powerhouse. Really all the way from the core and the back muscles to the thighs. Now we're going to take both legs. If you want, you can continue to do them separately, but we'll do both legs. Inhaling, exhaling, engage. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, inhale, exhale. Release, inhale, exhale, engage. Inhale, release. So you could do these in sets of 10. You could do 10, hold for 10, and a set of 10. You can build up. We're gonna now come down to a little articulated spinal movement, a variation of bridge here. So the soles of the feet are in line with the sitting bones. The arms are extended, palms facing down. Inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to take the navel to spine, lengthen the tailbone, press into the feet, and roll up the spine one vertebra at a time. Right? Just come to the bottom of the shoulder blades. You don't need to come all the way to the tops of the shoulders. Inhale here. And then exhale, drop vertebra by vertebra, imagining that you're dropping one pearl and another pearl and another pearl. As you lower the spine, lengthen, and come all the way down. So it's super slow. Coming back down. Just pause, wave the knees a little side to side for a moment. If there's any tension, you can release it. We'll go again. Inhale. Exhale, navel to spine, lengthening the tailbone, rolling up the spine vertebra by vertebra. Inhale at the top. And exhale, drop vertebra by vertebra down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen. Peel off the floor one vertebra at a time. Seeing if it can be tough to articulate. So we try to just get a little better at it each time. At the top, inhale. And then exhale, drop vertebra by vertebra back down from the top to the bottom. Good, and then hug the knees to the chest and take any final stretch you might like. Maybe it's happy baby, or taking the knees in a circle, or rocking side to side. Just any last movement, and then we'll settle into stillness. I invite you, if you'd like, one possibility is bring the chair back. We'll lay the lower legs onto the chair and take the blanket for under the neck. This is one quite lovely way to take rest. So this or any other way that's comfortable for you. Take some stillness, some ease. And as we are here in stillness, I invite you to follow the breath in and out. And here's the offering. You can bring to mind any part of your own suffering or the suffering of another. You can bring perhaps an image from
the media to mind. Choose your level. As you inhale in the pain. But we don't hold it. As we exhale out the pain. Inhale. Allow yourself to take in the pain. And exhale, allow yourself to let it move and release from you, riding out on the exhale. So going like that for a few more breaths. Inhaling the pain, exhaling the pain. Just a few breaths worth, right? Just a brief practice. It's an intense practice. And then you can let it go. Let any images, let anything go. Come back to your own space, your own sensation. Let that practice go. And as you're ready, make your way to a comfortable seat. We close as we have been doing by singing together Achenu, Achyotenu, Kol Beit Israel from the Monday, Thursday Torah service liturgy, praying for safe return of the hostages. Feel free to sing along with me or just follow the words on the screen. Let sound wash over you. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achyoteinu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanetunim betzara uvashivya, Haomdim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Hamakom yerachem aleim, veyotziem mitzara lirvacha, umeafel leora, umishibud ligeula hashta, bagala uvizman kariv. And we widen the circle. We pray not only for the mothers of these hostages, but the mothers of even our enemies, perceived enemies, for Sisera's mother and the loss of their children. We pray for anyone who is suffering, who is in pain on this planet, for ease of suffering. And this week we practice opening our hearts to the extent possible. To hear through the sound of the shofar call the pain of this world. I invite you to take a hand to your heart and just close with a breath or two to ground your practice. Focusing on the exhale, on the release. When you feel a sense of your own grounding, you can release your hand, you can open your eyes. My apologies for going a few minutes over today. Shavuot Tov. Thank you all for practicing. Again, the text, Rachel has included it in the chat. We'll be here for Q&A for the next 10 minutes or so. I invite you, if this practice has been meaningful, this or any other offerings from IJS, feel free to make a donation in any amount. Everything counts to help us continue to offer our free resources. For anyone who's looking for a deeper dive into Jewish practice and a community of practice in person, I want to invite you to take a look at a retreat I'll be leading in Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, December 12th to 15th at the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, together with Rabbi Claudia Kramen and Rabbi Cantor Daniel Ben Simchon. So please check that out if you're looking for Shabbat and yoga in an exquisite, nurturing setting. Take a look. I hope you might consider joining me. And if you have questions, please use the hand-raising function, or you can place them in the chat. Anything about our practice today, reflections on how these poses, this teaching lands in your own body. I don't always have answers, but just raising questions together is very helpful. Anne Jacobson, Ani Yeshena, if you put it into Google, there are a couple nice ones. The artist that I shared is Rabbi Sarah Bracha Gershuni, I think is her name. It's lovely. That's from a live service. And B'nai Jeshurun also had one that was really nice. Those were both on YouTube. Thanks for that question.